We're going to take a look at this problem and we're going to find the value of x for this. So the situation that we're looking at, we are looking at two parallel lines with a transversal running through it. And when we have that situation here, there's some relationships that are formed from this. So the two relationships that we need to be aware of in order to solve this problem, the first one being corresponding angles. Right? So when I take a look at this little just set of angles on this side over here, right? Ignore the bottom set of the problem for right now. When I take a look at this grouping here, I have 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, pretend I was able to take this grouping of 4 angles, pick it up from the board, and put it right on top of this one. This top right matches up with the top right over here, right? Then we have, you know, our bottom right with our bottom right, and so on like that. Top left with top left, bottom left with bottom left. Those are called corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are congruent. So what that tells us, that this 3x minus 43 in the top right position, that angle corresponds with this top angle over here. And so since this angle is 3x minus 43, that means by relationships of our angles here, this top right angle should also be 3x minus 43. We know that by corresponding angles. The second relationship we need to be aware of is vertical angles. Vertical angles are any two angles that are opposite each other. So when two lines cross, again, you get your 4 angles. So the ones that are opposite each other, the two that I just marked here, those are called vertical angles with each other. Also the ones on the opposite side over here that are across from each other, those are called vertical angles. Vertical angles are also congruent to each other, right? So that means these two angles down here at the bottom that we're looking at, they're opposite each other, which means yes, they are vertical angles, which means they are equal to each other. And if they're equal to each other, well, we can set them equal to each other and we can solve for that value. So we can take the 3x minus 43, we can take the 2x plus 18, and we can set this equal to each other, solve for x, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 43 to the other side, which is going to let me to drop down the 3x over here is equal to, also drop down the 2x while we do the math with our numbers here. 18 plus 43, let's see, that is a 61, I believe there. All right, it will drop down. Since I moved my number to the right, we need to move x to the left. So I'm going to subtract this 2x on either side. It'll cancel on the right, leaving us with 61. And on the left, 3x's minus 2x's is just 1x, which solves the equation for us. This says that x is equal to 61 degrees. All right, so if the problem is just asking for the value of x, well, x is equal to 61. If we actually want to know the value of the angle, keep in mind these two angles are equal to each other. We just need to plug in for one of them. I'm going to take the 2x plus 18. We now know that x is 61. So we can plug in that 61 into that x. When we do that, we get what a 122 here, right? 2 times 61 is 122. And if we add that 18 there, we get a 140. So the actual angle measurement is 140. X is equal to 61.